Soundstripe.
Welcome in, everyone, to NFL Week 5 Lock and Live with Uncle Phil and Smooth Andy. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this Sunday morning. Uncle Phil, Smooth Andy, how you guys doing?
Good football. Good. Good. Feel like I left most of my best picks yesterday on the cutting room floor. Fortunately, we shared those to everybody who listened in yesterday. People who listened in yesterday morning again did pretty well in our picks. So hopefully they did. And man, college football, we just keeps giving out picks on Saturday morning. Hopefully we do the same thing for everybody today on Sunday morning. Smooth Andy, how you feeling today?
Well, I fell asleep watching, I think, the very end of the Clemson FSU game. Didn't brush my teeth because I was just laying there watching, and I just dozed off, and I woke up and it was morning.
Yeah.
And then I got up and made a bet at the last minute on the Jets, and I've been watching this game. So not too great right now, although I have showered and brushed my teeth. After watching the Jets in the first half, I feel like I've just eaten a turd. So we'll see if they can turn it around.
Look, I still like the Jets. I think everybody on social media is like, oh, the Jets suck, and they do. But look, I've been saying all week to myself, I haven't really put it on. I really haven't put it on or put it out there. I mean, I've talked to you guys about it, but Aaron Rodgers is just not very good against zone, or he's actually really good against zone. Kind of gone back and watched some film this week, but he's not really good in the first half. But in the second half, Aaron Rodgers is really good against zone. I expect the Jets to have a better second half. I think the ending of the first half was more indicative of what we'll see. So I'm not giving up on this bet. I don't necessarily not think we're on the right side of this one. But the public's certainly having their day in the first half. I think we've got a shot at this one. I'm still engaged, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, Alan Lazard finally caught something at the end of the thing because he was dropping everything up until that point, and then he caught a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just feel like this the guy. Rodgers bails on a lot of receivers. Especially young receivers. If they drop something or miss something, he won't go to them the rest of the game. That's what he was infamously known for at Green Bay, right? But Alan Lazard, you can drop everything, you can do everything. He's still going to come back to you. He's in that tight circle, and he's going to keep doing it. So expect more Alan Lazard in the second half.
Fair enough. As long as he catches it, I'm okay with
it. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, he catches for a cover. That's what we're looking for.
Well, halftime's counting down right now, so let's get to the picks. Where are we heading first, Uncle Phil?
Yeah, we're headed out to the Bay Area. San Francisco starting to get healthy, but all of a sudden took a blow this week. Some players stepped back, injured. Biggest note is that best linebacker in football, Fred Warner, is out. That's a big blow to them. You have a division rival coming in town that not a lot of people think a lot of. The best number's gone. It was 7.5. It's down to 7 now. But Kyler Murray gets Trey McBride back. I really like Arizona to keep it close. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's our upset today that Arizona actually wins the game. But I like that one. I'm going to stay with Arizona +7. My second one, staying on the left coast, is I like going to the Giants going to Seattle. look, Daniel Jones has actually looked respectable this year, but it's really been because of Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is the offense. He's unbelievable. He is just this amazing prodigy of wide receiver. He's the next great wide receiver. No disrespect to Marvin Harrison Jr., but Malik Neighbors just is unbelievable and has made the Giants offense actually watchable. Unfortunately, he's out for a concussion this week. Didn't make the trip. So give me Seattle. -7 is my other best bet today. Hate to make everybody wait till the afternoon, but those are my picks. I think it'll be well worth the wait. I'm excited about these two picks. Really, really like those.
Love it. Smooth Andy, how about you? Where are you heading today?
Okay. I have a few. This is a very dog-heavy ticket, as it usually is with me, but it's even more so this week than usual. I've got a total of 8 picks and only one favorite. If this is the week where the favorites finally hit, I'm going to get annihilated, but I'm hoping that's not the case. So here we go. Starting off, this one, Cincinnati +2. Everyone's on Baltimore. It seems too easy. It seems like a sucker bet. I'm just betting that Cincinnati's, they know Baltimore. They play in the same division. I just don't like it when everybody thinks it's going to be that easy. And everybody, Baltimore's looked great the last 2 weeks. I like to sell high on them, so to speak, and take Cincy this week. Also, I have Indianapolis +3.5. I was delighted to hear today that Anthony Richardson will not be playing for Indianapolis today. I think he might be suited up, but it's going to be Joe Flacco, which always makes a difference at the moment. So I've got Indy +3.5. And then I took New England because, again, Miami, for some reason, is getting a lot of bets. And I don't really understand why. And New England has looked pretty bad the last 3 or 4 weeks. They had that upset of Cincinnati in week 1. Everybody thought, oh, maybe New England's okay. Well, they haven't been. But it's time to get off the pot for them. And Miami looks like a disaster right now without Tua. So give me New England +1.5 in that game. And then I have 5 more that I'll put up on Twitter.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you're following Smooth Andy 5 on X as well as Uncle Phil's Locks. A lot of great content from both of you guys. So continue to do what you guys are doing. Let's get to some questions now. We'll take a few questions, maybe a little bit short on the questions in the sense that people want to get back to watching the game. That's coming on pretty soon. So first on the line, we got Al. He says, guess probably not in your wheelhouse, but anytime TD parlay.
Gosh, so I guess that'd be 2 more people that have an anytime TD this afternoon. I'm going to go with Seattle. I think they score some points against the Giants. I'm going to say running back Kenneth Walker, and I'll say DJ Metcalf. I think those two get in the end zone. Both of those guys, one of them gets in there at least once, the other one gets in there twice. I think this happens. I think that's it's just a bad day for the Giants. Everybody has those, but today's a bad one.
I'm going to take Alan Lazard and one of the guys who scored for me.
It's afternoon, and for the afternoon games.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't put any thought into it. So
yeah,
not gonna.
All good.
Let's do rapid fire here because we're 2 minutes from halftime. We got Nicholas McCoy. Thanks for coming back to the show. Good to see you, Nicholas.
Yep.
Thoughts on the Panthers?
It's in the notebook for me. I've got a side on that one. Not much on the total, but I had a side. Smooth Andy.
Well, they've obviously been better with Red Rifle. I don't like Chicago. I'm kind of shocked they're 2-2. But other than that, nothing. It's a very evenly bet game. Line moved down 0.5 point from opening at 4.5 for the Bears. It just didn't tick any boxes for me this week.
Yeah, from an analytical standpoint, I think Chuba Hubbard had a pretty good game, and I also I really liked Caleb Williams last week. I've been on him the past 2 or 3 weeks, and really not on him as much as it is the Bears defensive staff. I feel like Shane Waldron's done him a lot of good because I feel like he's kind of turned in the early version of Russell Wilson. He's like one read and then go create. And it's obviously turned out when your legs have gotten to be Russell Wilson's age, so one read and create instead of going through your progressions doesn't really serve you well. However, what Caleb Williams is doing now, last week I saw him go on one particular play, saw him go through 5 different progressions to get to the wide receiver or get to the target that he wanted to. Was really impressed with his development, and I see that coming along. So I'm encouraged by that. Bears offense is still not exactly, fantastic, and they're still giving him pretty basic reads. They're not giving him a lot of advanced stuff like a lot of rookies to do that. So should be an interesting game. I think it'll be an interesting game. And like I said, I like one side of it, and it's in the notebook.
Sweet. We'll keep it rolling here. A lot of questions coming in. I love it. We got Mr. Miro, Cowboys Steelers. Where are you guys at on that one?
It's in my notebook. Cowboys defense without DeMarcus Lawrence, without Micah Parsons, tough deal for them. But Steelers on the other side, on the offensive side, lost their 3rd starting offensive lineman to a season-ending injury last Sunday. Without Cordero Patterson Day at running back, is a primetime game which favors the home team. But we'll see. I mean, last time the Cowboys went on the road, we saw them Thursday night against the Giants. Weren't that impressive. Steelers, can they overcome the injuries today? Really going to be an interesting deal to see. Smooth Andy, you got any thoughts on that one?
It's not going to be a bet for me, but I had a lean on Dallas because Pittsburgh's everybody's on Pittsburgh. Unsurprisingly, the way Dallas has looked this week.
Yep.
The last couple of weeks. But, if I had a gun to my head, I'd be on Dallas just because I think that's the contrarian at this point. Pittsburgh looks better than Dallas right now, and everybody is going to bet that way. So we'll see.
Sweet. Thanks for the question. Next on the line, we're going to Carter Morgan. He says, thoughts on the under in the Jags-Colts game. It's raining all day in Jacksonville.
Not really something on my radar. I know Smooth Andy didn't play totals, so I'll jump in on this one. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I think that Joe Flacco coming in has an opportunity to do that. Certainly, Jonathan Taylor being out, they're going to be firing the ball down the field. Less depending on the running game. Rain really doesn't have, unless you're Brock Purdy with smaller hands, doesn't have an effect on the game itself. I think it's more player matchups. Indianapolis is going to be throwing the ball a lot. Joe Flacco, certainly a much more accomplished passer than Anthony Richardson, certainly in favor of Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor going to be leaning on the passing game. I think Jacksonville, I really feel like that they're going to be coming out firing too. If I did anything, I'd probably lean toward the over in that game.
Yeah. My understanding is also, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Uncle Phil, the rain doesn't typically affect a game unless it's like a monsoon, right?
Yeah.
And snow doesn't typically affect a game unless it's like significantly deep enough where people are sliding around and they can't plant. And the thing you always got to look for is wind. That's the thing that always affects games.
Yeah.
So rain is not in and of itself a reason to bet on the under, but.
Yep. Thanks for the question, Carter. We'll take 2 more here as the game is going back live in London. Yep. Lamar and Derrick Henry, can they beat the Bengals? From AS on Twitter.
Look, it's really this is pros versus Joes. The Joes public is on Baltimore. The Sharps are all on Cincinnati. Look, but you look at this game today. The Sharps are on the Jets. Public was on Minnesota. The Sharps don't always win. I mean, it doesn't always work out for them. But over time, it does. We'll see what will happen today. Look, I just there's a part of me that wants to believe in Cincinnati and do this, and if they win, it'll be great. But I am Cincinnati is 31st in the entire league against the run with 12 personnel. Guess who runs 12 personnel all the time? And that's Baltimore. I just feel like that they're going to run the ball Cincinnati has not showed up at home this year. There's no against New England or against Washington. At least their defense hasn't. There's no belief in me that Cincinnati's defense is all of a sudden going to be transformed. Cincinnati's ownership is too cheap. They've sold off some of their best pieces. I mean, you got Jesse Bates leave, DJ Reader gone. You're just missing some key pieces. And it's because management is just too cheap to pay everybody and keep people. It's a shame for Joe Burrow. I hate it. Some organizations are just like that, and it's just really disappointing. So, I mean, I just a lot of different sides. I stayed away from it in the notebook. I did take the total in a teaser in the notebook, but other than that, I stayed away from the game just because I was conflicted about it.
Yeah, I've got Cincy, so that was my side in this one, as I mentioned earlier. 2 weeks ago, Baltimore, we were saying what's wrong with Baltimore, and now they're they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're obviously better than we thought they were 2 weeks ago, but they might not be as good as we think they are now.
This is a great opportunity right now. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
Is really this kind of week is to really go back and look at of the teams people have played up until this point. And last week I did a rookie mistake and I took Buffalo against Baltimore on Sunday night. But had I just looked at one of my key entries in my journal was that, go back and look at the teams people have played. If you look at who Baltimore had played up to that point, they played Arizona, they played Miami, they played Jacksonville. Records of those two teams at that point, not even including last week, were 2-10. Baltimore had played the Chiefs. They had played the Cowboys. They had played the Raiders. Those teams' combined record were 8-4. Even though Baltimore was 2-1, who do you think was more battle tested? And it was completely there. It's a prime example yesterday. I made I keep repeating the mistake is that I didn't look at Texas A&M and Missouri's schedule of who they played. Missouri hadn't played anybody, had been at home. Texas A&M was more battle tested. Texas A&M just wore them out. And again, it's this time of year when you should go back and compare schedules. Teams are playing more cupcakes earlier. Happens in the NFL too, just due to scheduling. It happened there. Look at those schedules.
All righty, one last question here. We got Corky. He says, with Shakir out, do the Bills stand a chance?
Smooth Andy, any thoughts on that one?
Pretty evenly bet. Line favorite was Buffalo -1 to start. Now it's Houston -1. I mean, that's a tiny move going through the zero. Nothing popped up for me. I had one Houston flag. I don't remember what it was. So I've got to lean on Houston, but I don't remember why. But no, it's just not one of the ones that hits all my targets.
Look, I stayed away from it. Publix a little on Buffalo on this one. I think that Buffalo's – I think a lot of sharps are like, hey, let me take Houston. Look, Joe Mixon's out. He picks up the blitz. I think that's a little bit of a problem for Houston. That's their Achilles heel. They're stuck with Cam Akers, who's going to fumble inside the 20 at least one game. I just think it's a little bit of an issue. The great thing about Buffalo, they do have a good offensive line. I think that Buffalo could make some plays, could be one of the exciting games today. Not really too impressed with Houston's schedule of who they played. I kind of think that I'm kind of with the public on this one. I think Buffalo will bounce back. But again, they've got some injuries. I just Poyer secure, Von Miller suspended. I just stay away. It's just not. There are better opportunities out there for me than that one.
Sounds good to me. Uncle Phil, Smooth Andy, any last words before we take off and see if the Jets can pull this one off?
Yeah. Smooth Andy, anything besides JETS, Jets?
I'm not going to climb on a bandwagon that doesn't exist right now, so I'm going to say go Dogs, and I don't mean Georgia. I mean go Underdogs, because if they're hitting today, I'm going to be a happy man at the end of the day. I got some ugly bets, some ones that just I mean, as soon as I made that Jets bet, I was like, I started feeling nauseous. That's how it happened.
Look, I think you're on the right side again because, again, just as in college football and the NFL, there are just no great dominant teams this year. So underdog should be the natural lean for anybody playing this. Public's just going to get its face ripped off. They continue to play favorites. So I'm with you. Smart advice always. We'll leave it as that being a last word. For Matt, who hosts Smooth Andy, the football quant, and the underdog king, I'm Uncle Phil. Thanks for joining in, guys. Let's have a day. And as always, let's roll.
Soundstripe.